Chelsea fans will not need reminding about how these last 12 months have been poles apart. You take a look at where they stood after 26 games last season, 63 points, first in the table. Meanwhile, fourth in the Premier League standings and so far this season, and pretty much in free fall. Alison Bender caught up with Eden Hazard to get the latest on what's going wrong.
So you've had such good times at Chelsea in the past. What is this thing about Chelsea winning a title and then completely imploding? Can you get your head around it?
I think the Premier League is difficult. It's hard to win every year. So.
But such a collapse from a team that's so excellent and so dominating.
Yeah, but we changed a couple of things. You know, last year we didn't have Champions League. Now we have less time to be ready for the game because we are playing every week 3 games. So okay, we lost players. We bring some new players, but you know, every year is different. That's why we love football, because if it's only the one team they win, is going to be boring. So yeah, that's why football is special. You never know what's happened, especially in England.
Thanks to Chelsea for making it interesting for everyone. It'd be boring if they won all the time.
I'm sure Chelsea fans are excited about it. Hey, it's happy for everybody.
Champions League, was that a valid excuse as to why we've seen such a collapse?
Yeah, all the things he said have some merit to them. The problem is, it's not acceptable to go from there to there. That's not acceptable. That means there's a problem either with the coach or with the players. So, yeah, Champions League has merit, but no.
I'm sorry. Is Barcelona playing Champions League? Are the big teams in Europe playing Champions League? Is PSG playing Champions League? I mean, what I don't quite understand is, well, we can make the excuse of Champions League when it suits us, when it helps us, when it helps the argument. When it comes to Eden Hazard and Chelsea, Champions League has nothing to do as to why they're struggling. You watch Chelsea play right now, and it has nothing to do with Champions League. Did they play Champions League before they play Watford this week? No. I don't buy that at all.
I really think that what he's trying to say is it's fatigue is what it means. And what he means by it, because last year they weren't in it. And there is some validation in that, because players do get tired more often because they play more. But to me, this is more about the fact that you've got an issue with the group of players and the coach.
A lot of speculation at the moment about Salah's future after that sensational season so far for Liverpool. I want to show you a couple of quotes. First one from 442. I'm happy scoring goals for the club I supported as a kid. That's all that matters. I came here to be at a top club and to enjoy myself. Okay. This is what you had to say to Marca. I'm happy at Liverpool. For the moment I am here in England, I want to focus on my team and to end the season very well. I want to help the team to win trophies or be in a good position in the league. I also want to help my national team to get out of their group at the World Cup. These are my objectives for now. Here's the kicker, I suppose. Then we will see. Steve.
I think it's far too easy to read into something, and if you're certainly somebody from the media, turn it into whatever you fancy.
Okay, we are from the media.
Yeah, and
that's what we do. So you don't need to say "then we'll see."
I mean, you're just picking it apart and coming up with the last wee bit. So forget the rest. You're just saying, but then we will
okay,
see.
when you're going to get married, you're like, I'm going to love you, I'm going to hold you, I'm going to commit to you for 5 years, and then we'll see.
It's an offhand comment that you would say, and all of a sudden you, in particular, are turning this into, oh, he wants away. He's not happy at Liverpool.
Did I say that? Have I said that? No. Well, I'm just saying
your tone
that opens the door. It's just a little crack there that doesn't necessarily need to be opened.
Listen, let me say this. As far as the media are concerned,
you're the media.
There doesn't have to be a little crack or a little door opened, because certain people in the media, like yourself, will turn it into something like you've just done.
But there is a crack. You don't need to give them that
Behave
crack.
yourself.
If he didn't say those last 4 words, we wouldn't even mention it.
To me,
you're making a mountain out of a molehill. There's nothing there.
I'm in Stevie's camp in the sense that I think a player throws that in, knowing that nobody usually players move on from clubs, and he knows that he's moved on from clubs. So I think this is more about, okay, I'll say that it's possible that I'll move somewhere, but I am very happy. And everything that's come out of him in the media before that is all been how happy he is at Liverpool. And to me, that shows in his play. So I think it's just something that exactly Stevie's saying, that it's just a little thing. I know you're saying a little door open, but I don't think it's anything to read into.
I think the issue is that those words that you're talking about were said to Marca, Spanish newspaper.
Yeah.
And so then you start talking about the speculation of what has been the conversations, if there's been any, between Mo Salah and his representatives, and perhaps the possibility of going to Real Madrid. We know that Real Madrid are going to make wholesale changes. They have to, simply because of who they are and coming up short to their expectations. And if he goes out after a tremendous Premier League season and has a great World Cup, and then puts himself in a different stage altogether, then the conversation turns to the James Rodriguez sort of talk, where he had a great World Cup with Colombia, and then it seemed like he was going to beeline it to Real Madrid. That's where perhaps people should get a little nervous if you're a Liverpool fan, that if this guy continues to do well, then you're going to attract the attention of the real big boys.
I don't like that. The real big boys.
Well,
And I can't argue with it, because Liverpool have just sold their best player, arguably, to Barcelona, which means that Liverpool right now aren't the big boys. But I'm just telling you, it's an offhand remark.
Game week 27 in the Premier League. The North London derby, Brian McBride, gets us underway.
Juicy one. Tough game to pick, but for me, Arsenal still has some defensive qualities. As good as they looked with Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang going forward, I think Tottenham can catch them on the break.
Tottenham win, okay.
Yep.
Going to go for a draw. It will not be 0-0. Don't give me abuse for sitting on the fence, because it'll be a high-scoring draw.
Boring.
Your former team, Everton, against Palace.
Yeah, I think Palace has too many troubles with injuries going forward. Everton, okay, had a bad week, but I think they definitely added some quality, so I'm going with Everton.
They did, and they're due their fans a performance after that capitulation at the Emirates. Stoke, Brighton, Lambert's doing well.
Lambert's doing better, and Brighton, of course, very much a team that plays well together, makes it difficult to break down, but I think Stoke's got better pieces, especially in that final third, so I'm going Stoke.
So you don't give me abuse when I agree with you, do you?
No, I don't.
Carvalhal's doing well. Swansea, one of the form teams, home to Burnley.
And talk about pieces. I think that team has some pieces. I love Leroy Fair. I think he's getting more out of him. I think there's so much more to offer for Swansea, as Burnley's not near as good a group of players.
We'll have to do something about this agreeing.
What's going on here? All right.
Well, we need to get the TV to work first. West Ham, Watford. They were good against Chelsea, or were Chelsea that bad?
No, they were good against Chelsea, and Chelsea were that bad in the first half.
So do they go there and win, or what do they do?
No, I think West Ham, listen, I think Moisey, as you know, the respect I have
Moisey. My pal Moisey.
You bring in Evra, it's going to have a little bit to do on the field, but I think also in the locker room, some good atmosphere there. So that may sound weird, but I'm going West Ham. All home.
They can't defend. And they're better on the break. Richarlison, Julafeo. Okay, 5 gone, 5 to go. City against City. Man City, Leicester.
Yeah, when are you going to not pick Manchester City in this? I know Leicester very good.
They'll have a go.
Games.
They'll have a go.
But that's probably going to be their downfall. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they're going to have to adapt probably and become more defensive. I'm not sure they can do that. Huddersfield, Bournemouth.
Oof.
They're doing all right.
Yeah, this is a situation where I think, what team plays better as a group on the given day. This is going to be the one time I actually, just kidding, I'm sticking with Huddersfield and staying home.
You're such a homer. I'll take a draw in that one. Newcastle against Man United.
Yeah, this I am going to have to
You're
start
not going
change.
home
No,
either.
I'm going to have to change my decision of all home teams. No, I think Manchester United, they need to get back on track. They need to start winning games a little bit easier, putting teams away, and I think this is a perfect game to do that.
Yeah, with you on that one. Southampton, I don't know how to predict them. One week they're good, the next week they're bad against a Liverpool side who are away from home, flying.
Yeah, but it sometimes struggle for the week against the weaker teams, and that's the big question mark to me. I just think that Liverpool, they know they have to, from here on in, play games better and play every game better. So I think Liverpool with a win.
Again, another high scorer. I think Liverpool on the counter-attack are frightening away from home. And Chelsea against the Albion. Which Chelsea is going to turn up?
Yeah, I think you'll see Giroud play from the start, and that will be a big difference. He made a difference in the second half for Chelsea against Watford when they were horrendous in the first half, as we've already talked about. But I'm sticking with Chelsea. I think Giroud's going to be the difference maker.
Okay, well, plenty home wins for you this week. See if you're right. ESPNFC.com if you want to take part as well.
So you're lucky to be playing at an amazing club, Dortmund, with such a fantastic support as well. Aubameyang, though, such a great character that you've lost. It must be a huge loss. We're delighted to have him in the Premier League, by the way. Is there anything you can tell us about him that perhaps we might not know, something that we can look forward to? Not necessarily playing, but something else?
I mean, I think you guys know what type of guy he is. I mean, he shows that, but I think what you guys really don't know is just how nice of a character he is and how much he cares and how hard he works. And I mean, he you know, brought me along so much as a player and helped me and, you know, guided me, and he's been such a great guy. So obviously we're sad to lose him, but I'm excited to see what he does.
Brian, we've had quite a debate over the last couple of weeks with regards to Aubameyang. Stevie said Lacazette is a much better player than Aubameyang. Where do you stand on this?
No, I think Lacazette's a much better player inside the penalty area for opportunities. I think Aubameyang is very good at finding space himself and making runs, creating openings for himself. And I'd say Aubameyang's a very good finisher.
An upgrade on Lacazette?
Yes, I think he's better than Lacazette. I think he gives him that ability to play the ball over the top, but also, and I've been saying this for years, and I know when I bring up Giroud, it gets Stevie all upset, but Giroud's a hold-up player. That's not what Arsenal needs, right? Giroud holds the ball up, then gets in the penalty area. Arsenal needs a player to use space in behind. It's been that way in the past. It hasn't changed under Wenger. And I think Aubameyang gives him that. He gives him the pace in behind, but also a very good finisher.
You pick Spurs to win?
Yeah, I still think there's too many issues in the back for Arsenal. I think Tottenham is sound defensively. Alderweireld is back now also. Yeah. I just feel that Tottenham at home is just going to be way too much.
So Aubameyang is a missing piece is what they needed, but I'm picking Spurs.
No, I never said missing piece.
Okay.
I said Aubameyang's an upgrade.
Okay, don't get angry. That's all right.
I'm just pointing out I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't get angry.
Wow, my goodness.
You got the final word in this segment, Stevie?
Well, he said he's an upgrade because he had no choice. Because you were flinging it at him, waiting for him to say it every 2 seconds.
So he is an upgrade. That's
no.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not.
Oh my goodness! We'll be back tomorrow to look ahead to more details of the North London derby. Be sure to join us. It was always going to be a bit tough, wasn't it, for Barca? Valencia weren't just going to roll over. In the first half, they had their chances, but in the end, the better team won.
Yeah, and Barcelona had a lot of the possession, as you would expect. And yes, Valencia did press high, did try to create some turnovers. That quite didn't happen the way that they would have wanted. And then once the game settled down, and it wasn't about emotion, it was about execution, then you had Luis Suarez with the individual effort and the cross over the top, and Coutinho recognizing his position on the field, knowing that Messi's going down the middle, he goes to the far post. All those things seem to be coming together for Barcelona, and after that first goal, it was always going to be difficult. Barcelona goes through, as we all expected.
A significant move at the break in the fact that Coutinho was brought on at half-time. We talked before, his first 4 games, no goals, no assists. Obviously, this is going to help.
It's going to help. I don't think it helps playing him on the right-hand side. I mean, listen, at Liverpool, he always played on the left, coming inside and just scoring goals from all crazy types of angles. But, I mean, even though he did change the game a little bit, it was kind of a typical Barcelona performance. It was all about when Messi got on the ball. It was all about the opposition actually looked as though they might be able to do something against Barcelona. But in the end, it was the outcome that we've seen all season, pretty much. Barcelona, at the end, comfortable.
Why did Valverde start Gomez in this game ahead of Coutinho?
I have no idea. I have no idea. We were joking about it as we were watching the game that when you think of Andre Gomez and you go to the training sessions, if they are asked to pick teams, he's probably the last one picked. And he's actually played better under Valverde than he did under Luis Enrique. But the bar was so incredibly low that that's not much to say. Andre Gomez simply does not belong at Barcelona. It's not that kind of player. And Coutinho, even though he's just still trying to figure out where he fits in, is a much better version of whatever Andre Gomez is.
Meanwhile, you take a look at the star performer in this game, Luis Suarez, with those 2 key assists. You know, it's easy sometimes to write him off. He had a bit of a rough start to the season, but he's still up there as one of the best in the world, isn't he?
Yeah, his movement's always been top of the class. The problem with Luis Suarez at the beginning of the season was you could see he was a little off with his touch. And so when his touch was off in tight spaces, he wasn't able to make the right kind of contact. When he was shooting the ball, he wasn't passing or connecting passes near as well as he normally does. But you could see that they went through a period of figuring out their shape, and their shape without Neymar. It was a tough period in that beginning of the preseason. We even thought there might be some bigger problems ahead, but they figured that out. I think the main reason things are working now is because of the pressure they're allowed to put. They're more compact in the middle, and I think that when you have that, it gives them the freedom to win the ball at better spots, and then they can find they can find Messi to do his job.
It's interesting in that we spent a lot of time this season on this programme waxing lyrical about Manchester City and the possibility of them doing the treble. You take a look at Barcelona, though. They're in exactly the same position. The fact they're going to win La Liga, final of the Copa del Rey, and obviously one of the favourites for the Champions League. Yeah, I think you'll have to say, wouldn't you, that their achievement has been more significant than that of Manchester City because of everything that happened in the summer. The fact that we all wrote them off. We all thought Real Madrid were going to run away with this La Liga. There was problems with Messi's contract. Neymar said he wasn't happy in Catalonia moving away. Yet somehow they've come together. They've lost one game all season. That was against Espanyol in the Cup. And they're looking as dangerous as they have for many years.
When we wrote them off, and we all did, it was off the back of the Spanish Super Cup.
Yep.
And yes, it's a pre-season competition.
That's when Piqué said this is the first time, isn't it, in 6 years that I'm going to say here that Barca are behind Real Madrid.
Yes, and they were.
Yep.
They were, and it showed in the way that they were playing, and you would have thought, my goodness. But what I think was important for Barcelona is that Ernesto Valverde, at that time, he could have had difficulties trying to get the confidence of the players up. He could have tried to, in some way, somehow, get Lionel Messi going. And maybe that wasn't going to happen. But Valverde was very calm, was very quiet. He simply said, you know what? We are going to work on our shape, on what we do. And from there, everything is going to give us more balance. We're going to be more solid as a team. We're going to defend better. We're going to recover the ball in higher positions. And from there, we're going to allow our very talented attacking players to take over. Messi has been excellent. Yep. Luis Suarez has come around. And then the rest of the team simply feed off of that. The confidence of this team early on in the season wasn't quite there. But they got a couple of results. And then they saw Real Madrid struggling. And when you see that going, then you're like, wait a minute. We're not that bad. We're not that bad. And we still got Lionel Messi.
Today's transfer rater starts with probably the best player in the world. I say probably because you get the...
No doubt.
He is for me, but you get those Ronaldo fans that
right.
want to argue. I'm not in the mood for arguing. Messi to China, Brian McBride. Any chance?
I don't see it as a chance. I know it's the Chinese have a lot of money and can pay the 700 million euro clause, but I think this is more about Messi's legacy, and he wants to make sure everybody knows he is the best player and the best player ever, so he's going to stay.
Mauro Icardi to swap Milan, to swap Italy for the Spanish capital.
Well, this is much more interesting. His agents come out and said he's moving in the summer. Real Madrid, of course, with an aging attack. But if you look at Madrid, they tend to take the more polished article. Icardi, he's 4 years in a row, he's been in 16 to 20 goals. He's at 18 for 22 right now. But I just don't think he's as polished as what Real Madrid wants. So I'm going to say it's going to be a miss.
Okay, so we're 2 for 2. Would you swap, if you were Asensio, would you swap Real Madrid, where you're not playing every week, but you're still a main part of the first-team squad, for a move to the Premier League in Chelsea?
It'd be difficult for me to leave Real Madrid, especially in the summer. You heard how glowingly they spoke about him, but I thought that would then present more opportunities. If I'm Asensio, I'd have a talk with probably the board and, of course, my coach, and see, am I going to play more? If not, I'd be open to this happening. Okay. And Asensio, I'm going to maybe. Okay. If there's a maybe on the hit, I'm going to give a maybe.
Luis Enrique, would he be the right style of manager for Chelsea if Conte goes?
For me, the next Chelsea coach has to be a man manager. He has to understand the culture of Chelsea and not just worry about the style of play. And that's the issue right now Conte's having. I think it would be a hit. I've heard that he's already turned the job down. But for me, if he goes, I think it'd be a hit.
They have a number of options at left back. Luke Shaw's one of them, but he can't. I mean, Jose Mourinho came out and basically sang his praises, said he's brilliant, his attitude's far better than it was, and then he dropped him for the next game and played Ashley Young. He's got to leave, doesn't he? Especially with Danny Rose potentially
That's
coming
exactly what I was going to say. Listen, it's very obvious Mourinho wanted a new left back in Danny Rose and was unable to get him. So I think the writing's on the wall for Shaw. Okay. He needs to leave. He needs to resurrect his career. And if I'm him, I'd want to go.
Tell you what, it was 2-0 after the first leg to the misses, but the home leg, 3 hits, turned it around. Amazing what you can do. What a success story Christian Pulisic has been at Borussia Dortmund, alongside Brian McBride. And Brian, Christian's form over there has undoubtedly led to speculation about his future. Manchester United, Liverpool, Bayern, Real Madrid. Why can't he just stay where he is? Would that be the best thing for him right now?
Well, I think it all depends. I think choosing for him a club that's going to help him develop his style and his skill set is going to be a necessity. Now, when you talk about some of these bigger clubs, some of them don't play necessarily the same type of soccer that they play in Dortmund. These are big decisions for you as a player, especially at such a young age. One, he needs to play. So if he's going to leave,
he is right now.
Right, exactly, which is a candidate to make him a decision to stay. He's also in a pretty large-sized club with an understanding of the structure, understanding of the players, and understanding of the style. So all those would give you an argument to not leave. But as a player, you always want to push the element. You always want to make sure that you are challenging yourself to your best of your ability to grow as a player. And if he feels that that option's there, then I could see him move.
But we have seen talented US players over the years move too quickly and then get lost. He's not going to get lost. He's too good for that.
Well, he's too mentally strong and mature, in my opinion.
Yeah, as well. But a lot of this depends on who's advising him as well. Are you happy with the way he's being advised right now? And yes, there's speculation, because that's what advisors do. They get speculation for their clients. But he's doing all right now, isn't he?
You know, looking at it from the advice side, I think you've got to think it's gone extremely well. And from my understanding, a lot of that is the communication between him and his dad. And his dad understanding him, his son, and Christian understanding himself. Now, that's all speculation on my side, reading the situation. Certainly the thing that is always going to be in the back of your mind is, one, the desire to play at one of the biggest clubs, because some of these are, we're talking, you know, monster clubs. All of them are. And two, just the fun of moving to a different club and working through the process of making it there.
What are you getting at here? What would you do if you were in his shoes?
Well, first of all, I'd make sure the club was the first part. The club was the style of soccer that I play. So if you're going to Manchester United, you know you're not going to be on the ball near as much as you are if you're going to a Liverpool or you're going to a Real Madrid. You know, the exciting part of going to Real Madrid, where every single player on the field around you is world class, you know, it's a desire that you can't sometimes turn down.
Let's not forget he's 19 years old. The best thing right now probably for him will be to continue playing at Borussia Dortmund, and if he continues to play well, then surely he can